Hello everybody, and welcome to another reading from my novel 13 Offerings. Thank you for those of you who have been tuning in every week, every Friday. I'm trying to keep it up and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Feel free to listen on headphones. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of moving around here, so just listen and enjoy. I'm going to do my best with the voices. I do get a little confused sometimes. I have a lot of characters in this book because it's an anthology novel. This is the book we'll be reading from. Once again, I don't know how to turn this around, so sorry. It says 13 Offerings. This is my first novel. It's an anthology novel that's filled with all sorts of stories of navigators and monsters and all sorts of interesting creatures. The cover was done by Naomi Gibson, a very talented digital artist, and it was edited by Heath Harper, who goes by H.H. Raymond professionally. Feel free to, if you have a copy of the book, feel free to follow along or read ahead. If you don't have a copy of the book and you would like one, feel free to go onto Amazon. 13 Offerings book. It is available on ebook, paperback, and hardcover. I also have it available on my website, www.aprilwahlin.com. You're probably watching this on one of my many different social medias, but I air these on Facebook Live every Friday. And I also repost them on YouTube for my channel, which is youtube.com/AprilWahlin. And oh, hello, mother-in-law. Thank you for watching. So I will be posting these on YouTube. If you want to subscribe there, that would be great. And yeah. I'll be doing a short Q&A afterwards if anybody has any questions. Usually don't, but the stories are pretty straightforward. But if you do, that's a good time to ask. So feel free to type in the comments then. And for recap, we just had another tale from our navigator, Jonathan Maritime. Last time he was dealing with a bunch of sirens, and they managed to get through that, so that's good. Now we are coming back to the brothers around the table where they are planning to continue their stories. All right, let's go. Bannon closed his misty eyes. When he reopened them, they had returned to their blonde-brown shade. The small liquid pool left by the siren's claw quickly evaporated into the great stump. Is there a place your ship has not sailed? Killian asked his brother. We've been everywhere from here to the depths of Tartarus itself. Another good tale, Angus commented, distractedly gazing at the door of the great room. What's wrong, brother? Killian asked. I'm beginning to doubt Connor will show. He may have an easily distracted eye, but he would never miss a social ball. I hope you're right, but if he does show, he'll be a story short, and I have no other tales for the offering. I have another story in the meantime, a light-hearted piece, Patrick offered. Go ahead, brother. Let us just hope Connor shows before the sun rises. The brothers nodded to Patrick, who then pulled a small wooden box from his pocket and slid the top open. I offer this tale of a young man in the grips of changing youth who attempts to exact revenge upon his peers. I bring this tool of his revenge. Patrick turned the box over, and several very small, very white, very dead bugs fell onto the table, where their husks instantly began to grow brown. The Other Charming Boy. Ash ran through the halls of Legends Primary as though his life depended on it, which was very possible. If his plans headed south, Domino Charming was sure to have him strung up by his shoelaces. However, Ash would not entertain thoughts of failure. He fingered the secret weapon in his jacket as he smuggled it into the cafeteria and through the sterile dining hall, avoiding eye contact with the other students. This was the gauntlet. If he could make it to his table at the back of the hall without attracting attention from the odd kids, the valiants, or the charmings, he would be home free. Ash kept his eyes to the floor as he passed the weird table, a motley crew of frightening students who kept to themselves. If you were unlucky enough to anger them, their ringleader, Brody Wicked, would stick you in a trash can and be done with you. Ash breathed easier once he passed them, though they were the least of Ash's worries. Bruises were easily suffered. It was the public ridicule the charmings loved to dole out that he couldn't handle. Out of the corner of his eye, Ash spotted the Valiant's table. They were the children of the Valiant brothers, a soldiering family whose great deeds had earned them lands, titles, and fair maidens. They were stuck up and stern, but kept to themselves when not competing with the charmings. He stifled a gasp as he caught a glimpse of Samba Valiant, his longtime crush. He had never actually spoken to the girl, but would someday have the courage to ask her out. Someday. Ash passed the table, ignoring the snickering comments of the children of the Valiant brothers made under their breath. Now he began to sweat. If he got past his abusive cousins, the Charmings, all would be well. The Charmings were the children of those princes who won fair damsels and defeated magnificent monsters. Their renown and desirability was of mythic proportions. The only benefits Ash had gained from being a Charming were a square jaw and a thick head of hair. No premature balding for him. It was his mother's side of the family that had provided the bad skin and gangly structure. Puberty was not being kind. Ugly duckling syndrome, his mother had called it. Privately, he called it the only half-charming syndrome. He was bitter towards his cousins. They were rich, filthy rich, members of the richest family in the kingdom. Ash's parents, on the other hand, though holding the title, had no fortune to speak of. His father, Sue Charming, had rebelled from the Charming family, refusing to take part in their deeds, lands, and sizable fortune. He married Ash's mother, Cinderella, and though Cindy was a beauty, she had no dowry to speak of. Ash continued past his horrible relatives to the sanctuary, the table at the back of the hall where his childhood friend, Harper Beanington, and their sometimes lunch buddies, Hattie and Horatio Hatter, were already halfway through their meals. Ash slid into the seat across from Harper and looked over his shoulder to make sure he hadn't woken any suspicions. Where have you been? Lunch is nearly half over, Harper asked, genuinely concerned. Being Ash's best friend, she knew the abuses he faced at the hands of his cousins. Ash changed the subject. Where's Rain? She's with her dad. You know that. Now why are you looking so guilty? Harper asked. Yeah, Ashley. Why are you hunched over the table, and what are you hiding in your jacket? Hattie asked, her inquiries born more from curiosity than concern. It's a secret, and I told you before, don't call me Ashley. You're keeping a secret? Harper asked doubtfully, as she swept her thick golden hair out of her bronze face. Not from you, from them, Ash replied, nodding back at the Charming table. Today, my friends, is the day I exact revenge on Domino for all the pranks he's played on me. What, like the time in the locker room where he replaced your shampoo with a coloring spell? Horatio offered. Harper sighed. It was such a lovely shade of violet. Or the time Domino wedgied you in front of Samba? Hattie laughed. Or when he knocked you in the fountain. Or, yes, Ash cut them off. All that, thanks for the reminders. Okay then, what's the plan this time? Horatio asked. Exploding potato like last week? Or attack pixies like the week before? The pixies were adorable, Harper smiled reminiscently. Yes, but they just danced around stealing everybody's breadcrumbs. Not much of an attack, Hattie giggled. Ash smiled as he set a small box wrapped in polka dot paper on the table before them. You're going to give them a present? Harper asked, confused. It's not really a present. It's a trick, he whispered. Soon as Domino opens this, it's going to release pigment bugs. Pigment bugs? Where'd you get those? You know how Mom is. She keeps all sorts of creatures around the house. Found them when we were cleaning out the shed. Anyway, it'll be amazing. Domino will open the box. The bugs will get all over him, and they'll eat away at that tan he's worked so hard on. He'll be white as a ghost for weeks. That's it? Harper asked. You're going to ruin his tan? It's perfect, Ash insisted. Diamond and Domino have skin white as snow like their mom. He hates to tan. He has to tan every other day to keep his color. He complains about it every time our parents made us play together. It's the perfect revenge for the purple hair. Violet, Harper corrected. Yeah, that's great, Ash. Just one problem, Horatio replied. How are you going to get them to open it? This stopped Ash short. I was going to hand it to them. Don't you think it's a bit suspicious? Harper asked. Well, how else do I get it to him? I don't know, Horatio chuckled. It's your master plan. Ash sat stumped. Domino not opening the box had never factored in. Well, Ash told them, if he doesn't want to open it, I could put it in his locker. The anonymous package thing is probably a better route, Hattie replied. Plan B if he doesn't open it, Ash affirmed. Harper shook her head. But then he'll know it's from you, and the second plan won't work either. I'll rewrap it. Domino is pretty dumb, but even he's not going to fall for that, Horatio scoffed doubtfully. My mouth is drying out as I'm trying to read, sorry. Ash isn't going to listen, Harper chuckled. He's got it in his head. Go exact your revenge. We're watching. Ash looked like he would explode with excitement at any moment. Quickly, he took his dastardly present and headed toward the Charming's table. Every step felt like an eternity as he advanced on his nemesis. After about a year, he found himself at the edge of his cousin's table. Can I help you? Can I help you? Diamond asked coldly. Ash had planned something witty to say upon handing over the box, but his mind was a blank as he held the box towards Domino. Domino looked up at it, a disbelieving sneer on his face. Is that supposed to be for me? Ash nodded, praying he would take the package and let him go back to his table to watch the mayhem from a safe distance. Domino continued to sneer, but reluctantly took the package. Ash quickly turned to leave. Aren't you going to at least watch him open it? Diamond asked suspiciously. I can see fine from my table. I insist you stay, Domino replied in an instant. A moment later, his larger cousins, Zed and Ted, towered on either side of Ash. Ash could only stand stunned. He was going to be beaten to a pulp in front of the entire school, but it would be worth it to get back at Domino. He had nearly opened one side of the package when his sister stopped him. Ash's heart sank. I would hate to think that our dear cousin Ashley might have something harmful, might give you something harmful, but we should take a precaution, she smiled cunningly. Precaution? Ash choked. Just a simple spell, Diamond replied, and placed her hand on the package where she mumbled a few words. There, she smiled. Thanks, sis, Domino replied and continued opening the package. As soon as he opened it, tiny white bugs streamed towards Domino's hand. Ash watched excitedly, but something was wrong. The bugs suddenly changed direction and headed back at Ash. I love the return to sender spell, Diamond laughed as the bugs crawled up Ash's leg. It repels malicious deeds, sending them back on whoever dispatched them. Ash tried to back away, but Ted and Zed held him in place as the bugs burrowed into his pores. Psst, Ash called to the chipmunks on the branch next to him. Come chew these laces, will you? The chipmunks just laughed and ran deeper into the tree. He hung from his shoelaces dismally. He could talk to animals, sure, but getting them to do what he wanted was another thing altogether. There you are, Harper called. Ash looked down at her from the tree in the center of the courtyard. Next time, just put the box in his locker, she told him, scaling the tree. Duly noted, he groaned. So, how long is your skin going to stay white? She asked as she unknotted his laces. About a week. That's not so bad. Harper's voice was cheerful. Harper's voice was cheerful. They tied these things pretty good, though. I'm going to have to cut them, she sighed as she rifled through her art supplies in her bag. All right, Ash groaned. Just let me know when you're about to... Before he could finish, his laces snapped and he plummeted to the courtyard. So, have you learned your lesson? Harper asked as she came down the tree and helped him to his feet. Yes, Ash replied. Next time I'll use a long-range surprise attack. Up close and personal clearly doesn't work. Harper shook her head as she escorted her albino friend to their next class. Well, Rain and her dad had to cut their trip short, so at least we'll have a good story for her when we get to the Round Table Cafe. Yeah, I'm sure she'll love it, he replied distractedly as he began spinning new schemes to get back at Domino. All right, and that is the end of The Other Charming Boy. Sorry for all my breaks and stuff. It's a little warm in here and I need water. Also, lots of switching between characters, so that gets a little confusing sometimes. Anyways, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them now. And I hope you guys are enjoying the readings. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, sorry for all the breaks. And I'm guessing no questions. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, next Friday, 6 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Looks like we're going to be back with our navigator for the short story At Midnight. That's a fun one, and I believe the last of the Maritime series, as there are 4 shorts from that character in here. Oh, Andreas wants to know when the next book is coming out. Yes, well, editing is a big pain in the butt and expensive. So, unfortunately, the next book, which will be coming out, is Pandora's War. Sequel to Pandora Syndrome, which I currently have out, will be, I'd like to get it out by the end of the year. Let's hope. But fingers crossed I can get it edited and then re-edited and then formatted and get it out. So, but soon. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. All right. Bye.